Why don't people respect you, even when you do so much for them? The truth might not be what you think. And today, it could change your life. If you truly want people to value and respect you, watch this video till the end. And to keep growing, make sure to subscribe. And press the bell icon, because the next truth might change you from within. Have you ever felt like you give your best to people? You're kind, helpful, always there when someone needs you. And yet, somehow, you're still not respected the way you deserve. People overlook you. They take you for granted. Sometimes, they even talk over you, like your presence doesn't really matter. And deep down, it hurts. You start wondering, maybe I'm not strong enough. Maybe I need to try harder. Maybe if I'm even nicer, they'll finally value me. But that's where most people get it wrong. The problem is not that you're too kind. The problem is, you've taught people how to treat you. And the moment you understand this, everything begins to change. Today, we're going to talk about 4 habits that silently destroy your respect, and how changing them can completely transform the way people see you. You reply instantly. You show up every time. You make yourself accessible to everyone all the time. And you think, this will make people appreciate me. But it doesn't. In fact, it does the opposite. When you're always available, people start to see you as replaceable, because anything that's always there is rarely valued. Respect is not built on constant presence. It's built on meaningful presence. There's a difference. When your time feels unlimited, your value feels limited. But when people know that your time is earned, not freely given, they begin to treat you differently. This doesn't mean you become cold or distant. It means you develop boundaries. You understand when to say yes, and more importantly, when to say no. Because every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're silently saying no to your own worth. You avoid conflict. You say what people want to hear. You adjust yourself just to keep others comfortable. You think this makes you likable. But in reality, it makes you forgettable. Because people don't respect someone who has no clear stance. When you constantly shape yourself to fit others, you slowly lose your identity. And people can feel that. They may smile with you, but they won't admire you. Respect comes from consistency, from standing firm in who you are, even when it's uncomfortable. And here's a hard truth. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. In fact, the moment you stop trying to please everyone is the moment people start taking you seriously, because now you're no longer chasing approval. You're choosing self-respect. How many times have you held back your thoughts? You had something important to say, but you stayed quiet. You told yourself, it's not worth it. Let it go. It doesn't matter. But it does matter. Every time you silence yourself, you send a message to your own mind. My voice is not important. And over time, others start believing the same. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to argue. But you do need to be heard. Respect is given to those who express themselves with clarity and confidence. Even a calm voice, when it carries certainty, can command attention. Because it's not about how loud you speak. It's about how much you believe in what you're saying. Your mood depends on how others treat you. If they praise you, you feel confident. If they ignore you, you feel small. This is the most dangerous habit of all, because the moment your self-worth depends on external validation, you lose control over your own identity. You start performing for approval. You start living for reactions. And without realizing it, you become emotionally dependent on others. But true respect comes from within. It begins the moment you decide, I don't need everyone to approve of me, to know my value. When you stop chasing validation, you start attracting respect because people can sense when someone is grounded within themselves. Now take a moment. Imagine what happens when you change these habits. You're no longer always available. Your time becomes valuable. You stop trying to please everyone. Your presence becomes authentic. You start speaking your truth. Your voice becomes powerful, and you define your own worth. Your energy becomes unshakable. Something shifts, not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply. People begin to pause when you speak. They think twice before taking you for granted. They feel something different about you, and that something is respect. But here's what most people don't realize. Respect is not something you demand. It's something you embody. It's reflected in the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you choose what you tolerate, and what you don't. And once you start changing these patterns, you'll notice something interesting. The same people who once ignored you start paying attention. The same people who underestimated you start watching you differently, not because they changed, but because you did. And this transformation doesn't come from being aggressive or dominant or trying to prove something. It comes from a quiet shift inside you, a shift where you no longer beg for space. You naturally take it, where you no longer seek validation. You become self-defined, where you no longer fear losing people, because you've finally found yourself. And when that happens, you realize something that changes everything. Respect was never something others were supposed to give you first. It was something you were supposed to build within yourself, because the world doesn't decide your value. It reflects it. The way you carry yourself, the standards you set, the things you tolerate, all of it sends a message without you saying a single word. And people listen, not to what you say, but to who you are. So if you want to be respected, don't chase it. Don't beg for attention. Don't shrink yourself to fit into someone else's comfort. Instead, protect your time. Stand by your values. Speak when it matters. And most importantly, know your worth, even in silence. Because the moment you stop treating yourself as an option is the moment the world has no choice but to see you as a priority. And maybe, just maybe, the respect you've been searching for in others was waiting for you to finally give it to yourself first.